Friends, this week is the first Shabbos in the shul's history that we haven't had communal services. Every member of our congregation is in social seclusion, which means that it feels as if we are on our own. I've spoken with people who are literally confined inside their flats for fear of being inflicted and infected with this frightening virus, which is literally pulling down the world to a standstill. I do believe that the world will never be the same after this virus. People will be talking about it for years, as in what happened pre-virus and post-virus, for years and years to come. We know that there is nothing worse in the whole world than being alone. When the prophets describe in Lamentation the status of Jerusalem, its status of sadness is defined as badad, which literally means to be alone. To be alone means to be cut off, to be disconnected. That in itself is reason enough for lamentation, for a time of crying. In prisons, the worst punishment you can possibly give to anybody is to put them into solitary confinement. It is therefore ironic that this week's parsha is entitled Vayakel, which literally means to gather, which comes from the word kihila, congregation. Moshe gathers the Jewish people together. This congregation is not just a gathering of different people who come together for no purpose at all. He is calling them for a purpose, to build a Mishkan, a place in which God's presence can dwell. He gives them a reason for being there, to unite the people, men and women, all together, and he gives them a purpose that only they can achieve. The definition of a congregation, according to the Ibn Ezra, is the ability to donate, to give, whether it is of your time or it is of your resources. At first glance, this whole parsha is about building something important. And at first, reading it, it felt so completely incongruous against this moment in my personal and communal life. The coronavirus, social distancing, quarantining, the potential for sickness, and even, God forbid, death, seems something which was generated to be the exact opposite of the building, the hope, and the excitement which came together with the creation of the Mishkan. My feelings of sadness, and yes, even anger, at the stopping of the daily minyan and of the shul are hard to express. The removal of one of the most basic building blocks of daily prayer expressed to me a moment of erosion and destruction on a communal level. How can we apply the lessons of community in a time of isolation? Yet, as this week progressed, and I found myself feeling more and more strangely optimistic, we have been forced into finding new and different ways of creating community. We are being forced to think on our feet, and more than that, and more importantly than that, to think for one another. We are finding new ways to build our community in a way which I have not experienced ever before in working community life for over 10 years. I'm proud of our community, and I'm so pleased to see that we have come together as a kehillah during this moment of time. This virus has forced us to think about our community and those who are at risk in a very real and present way. It has helped me to realize that I need you all in our special kehillah to stand up and give of your time. And I am so incredibly proud of our community because you know what? We have. I have many people in our congregation who have contacted me and opened their hearts to those in our community who are unable to help themselves. Members of all ages have willingly offered to help those who can't help themselves by shopping for them, communicating with them by the telephone, or even providing them with a Skype conversation comforting those who are on their own, to support those who can't support themselves at this difficult and incredibly disempowering time. As you know, all my shiurim have been cancelled because bringing people together is unfortunately just not safe. However, technology provides us with a cure, the wonder of having the internet and the ability to connect with people in the comforts of their own homes. It is wonderful to be able to communicate with all sorts of people through this medium. It also is such a powerful tool because it shows that Torah is not only housed with the Rabbi, but in the homes of you, our congregates. Our sages tell us that God creates the cure before he creates the disease. This new online community is a product of the fact that we have all the technology in place before we needed it as we do right now. We already had online shopping, television streaming, face-to-face phone calls, and virtual classrooms. Now we are containing ourselves within our own homes. We are still able to come together and congregate through these amazing technological media advances. It is therefore possible to have a kehillah, a congregation that grows together, that morphs, that evolves, that has the ability to give to one another, and that has the ability to focus together on those wonderfully important things that are so important and so near and dear to all of our hearts. I'm so proud of our community at this time. I look forward to the time when we are once again able to be a kehillah in our own Mishkan of the Cranbrook United Synagogue when all of this is over. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom of good health, happiness, and most importantly, safety. Shabbat Shalom.